What are the schools of thought? There are four major schools of thought in Sunni Islam: Hanafi, Maliki, Shafi'i, and Hanbali. The Arabic word for schools of thought is madhhab. The schools of thought are not sects. They are different methods of deriving, interpreting, and implementing Islamic law. The schools of thought may differ in the day-to-day implementation of Islamic law, but not in fundamental Islamic beliefs and practices. Let's take the Salah, or Islamic prayer, for example. The overall performance of the prayer is almost identical among all the schools of thought. However, there are minor differences such as the placement of the hands or moving the finger during a tashahhud. Where did the schools of thought come from? Of course, there were no schools of thought during the early days of Islam. Neither Prophet Muhammad ﷺ nor his companions or Sahaba followed any specific madhab. Everyone followed the madhab of Prophet Muhammad. After the Prophet died, Islam began to spread rapidly. As Islam came into contact with more civilizations, circumstances arose that required unique legal decisions. When most of the Sahaba were still alive, they used consensus or ijma to decide on legal matters. Furthermore, the first four caliphs were also Sahaba. The caliph could overrule the consensus of the companions because he was the head of state and the head of religion. However, the death of Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu ended this era. The Umayyad dynasty that followed him was a hereditary monarchy. Opposition to the Umayyads led to various factions and rebellions. These different factions often used Islam to legitimize their agendas. Since many of the Umayyad caliphs were corrupt, the leading Islamic scholars of this era maintained their distance. This was to avoid political manipulation and coercion. Many scholars moved away from the large cities and settled in rural areas away from political control. Since these scholars were more isolated, they had to rely on their own deduction called ijtihad. This ijtihad, that is, deducing laws from the original sources, is what led to the formation of the schools of thought. As certain scholars attracted more students, they increased in popularity. This popularity invited more legal questions about more complex issues. These complex issues led the scholars to do even more ijtihad. There were two broad approaches to Islamic law: reasoning and literalism. The reasoning approach assumes there must be a reason behind every hadith and every verse of Quran. The literalist approach discourages trying to find the reason behind hadiths and Quran and just accept them as they are. The history of the four schools of thought. The Hanafi madhab. Founded by Imam Abu Hanifa, this is the largest madhab in the world. Abu Hanifa was born in Persia, and his father accepted Islam during the era of the righteous caliphs. Imam Abu Hanifa met some of the Sahaba, but he did not study under them. Abu Hanifa preferred the reasoning approach to Islamic law. He also lived in Persia during a time when there was a lot of rebellious activity against the Umayyad government. These rebellious factions often invented hadiths to justify their actions. This scourge of fabricated hadiths led Imam Abu Hanifa to rely more on ijtihad or deduction. He just couldn't trust many of the hadiths where he lived. Imam Abu Hanifa himself was very skilled in the study of hadiths. He studied under Ahmad ibn Zayd, the leading hadith scholar of his day, for 19 years. Abu Hanifa often taught using hypothetical fiqh. He encouraged his students to come up with hypothetical situations and work out the correct ruling. He believed this prepared his students for situations before they happened. Imam Abu Hanifa was imprisoned and tortured by rulers from both the Umayyad and Abbasid dynasties. When the Umayyads were in power, they wanted him to become a judge, but like many scholars of his day, Abu Hanifa wanted to avoid politics. For refusing them, he was imprisoned and beaten by the governor of Kufa in Iraq. Years later, when the Abbasids had come to power, Caliph al-Mansur again asked him to become a judge. And again, Imam Abu Hanifa refused, and again he was imprisoned and beaten. The legal system of the Ottoman Empire was based on Hanafi fiqh, helping to establish it as the world's largest madhhab. Today, the Hanafi school of thought is mostly found in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Turkey. The Maliki madhhab. Imam Malik was the grandson of one of the Sahaba. He was born in Medina and spent his entire life there. He only left the city to make Hajj. He studied under Nafi', the freed slave of Ibn Umar. There are over 80 hadiths that include in its chain of narration from Malik, from Nafi', from Ibn Umar. This chain of narration is highly authentic and is called the Golden Chain by hadith scholars. Unlike Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Malik discouraged hypothetical fiqh. He encouraged his students to ask questions, but he would only deal with practical, real-life situations. He also supported a literalist approach to Islamic law. He taught his students by narrating a hadith, then discussing its meanings in contemporary issues. Imam Malik was unique in that he considered the practices of the people of Medina to be a source of Islamic law. The Prophet ﷺ established an Islamic government in Medina. 90% of the laws in the Quran were revealed in Medina. And Caliphs Abu Bakr, Umar, and Uthman radiyallahu anhum all ruled from Medina. Therefore, Imam Malik believed the people of Medina of his time had the most authentic practice of Islam. Imam Malik became so popular and respected that the Abbasid Caliph wanted to make his ruling state law. However, Imam Malik refused to allow that. Later, he would rule against an Abbasid law that forced a man to divorce his wife if he broke an oath. When his ruling became known, Imam Malik was arrested, imprisoned, and beaten severely. Imam Malik's major work is Al-Muwatta, which is widely available in English today. Al-Muwatta is a hadith collection, but one that focuses on Islamic law. One of his most famous students was Imam Shafi'i, founder of the Shafi'i madhhab. Today, the Maliki school of thought is found in parts of Egypt, Sudan, North Africa, West Africa, and some Gulf states. The Shafi'i madhhab. Imam Shafi'i was born in Gaza in modern-day Palestine. He studied under Imam Malik and memorized Al-Muwatta. He remained a student of Imam Malik until Imam Malik died. Nonetheless, Imam Shafi'i rejected Imam Malik's preference for the practices of the people of Medina. Imam Shafi'i, like many other scholars of his era, traveled extensively in search of knowledge. Hence, he studied under many different scholars. While teaching in Yemen, Imam Shafi'i was accused of being a Shiite. He was arrested, taken to Baghdad, and put on trial. However, he successfully defended himself and was set free. While he was in Baghdad, he began studying under Muhammad al-Shaybani. Al-Shaybani was a student of both Imam Malik and Imam Abu Hanifa. As a result, Imam Shafi'i's school of thought combines the teachings of the Hijaz, that is Imam Malik, with the teachings of Iraq, that is Imam Abu Hanifa. One of Imam Shafi'i's most famous books is Ar-Risala, meaning the letter. This was the first book to present a systematic and organized study of fiqh, or Islamic jurisprudence. Imam Shafi'i's students included Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal and al-Muzani. Al-Muzani would later be imprisoned and tortured to death for not accepting Mu'taziliya philosophy. The Shafi'i madhab is perhaps the second most popular school of thought after the Hanafis. This is due to the chief judge of Damascus adopting it and offering prizes to anyone who memorized Imam Shafi'i's books. Imam Shafi'i eventually settled in Egypt and was able to teach in relative peace and security. This allowed his school of thought to become dominant in Egypt. The Shafi'i school of thought can be found in Egypt, parts of Yemen, Sri Lanka, southern India, Malaysia, East Africa, the Philippines, Indonesia, and Suriname. The Hanbali madhab. Ahmad ibn Hanbal was born in Baghdad and was a student of Imam Shafi'i. Later in life, he was arrested and tortured for not accepting Mu'taziliya philosophy. This period was known as the Mihna, or Inquisition. The Abbasid Caliph al-Ma'mun had become a Mu'tazilite. The Mu'taziliya relied heavily on logic and reasoning. This led many of them to assert that the Quran was created. Caliph al-Ma'mun tried to force this ideology on the leading scholars of his day. Those scholars who disagreed with him were imprisoned and tortured until they capitulated. Many, like al-Muzani mentioned earlier, died during this period. Imam Ahmed stuck to the traditional belief that the Quran was the uncreated speech of Allah. Because of this, he suffered nearly a year of imprisonment and torture. Like Imam Malik, Imam Ahmed preferred the literalist approach to Islamic law. Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal was a prolific collector of hadiths, having collected nearly 30,000 hadiths in his lifetime. His hadith collection is called Musnad. In fact, the two most prominent hadith collectors, Imam Bukhari and Imam Muslim, both studied under Imam Ahmed at some point of time. Imam Ahmed did not like to record his teachings and forbade his students from writing them down. It was the students of his students who finally wrote his rulings down. Due to his conflicts with the government and his refusal to record his rulings, the Hanbali madhab remained very small for centuries. In the mid-1700s, Muhammad ibn Saud, the ruler of a small Arabian state, teamed up with a religious scholar named Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab came from a long line of Hanbali scholars. Ibn Saud and Abdul Wahhab expanded the boundaries of their emirates until the Ottoman Empire crushed them and sent most of the Saudi family into exile. In the 1930s, Abdul Aziz ibn Saud became the first king of Saudi Arabia, and he gave all religious authority to the descendants of Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. Hence, Hanbali fiqh became the basis of the Saudi legal system. Today, the Hanbali school of thought is primarily found in Saudi Arabia and Palestine. Conclusion. These four schools of thought survived because they had outstanding students, state support, and they each brought something unique to the table. Imam Abu Hanifa and his preference for qiyas and hypothetical law. Imam Malik and his exclusive usage of the customs of the people of Medina. Imam Shafi'i and his blending of many different teachings. And Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal and his preference for hadiths and literal interpretation. This essay is not intended to cause division. The purpose of this essay is to help you appreciate the beauty and complexity of Islamic law, and to acknowledge the sacrifices of those dedicated Islamic scholars who came before us. May Allah have mercy on them, and may we meet them in Jannah. Ameen.